Hi, welcome to Finding Pivot Points. This one's in Boston and I'm going to show you how I found it. The first thing to do is go to your map and you want to bisect the city into two, and that just means draw a line either vertically or horizontally. So I'm going to fast travel to this area on the west, on the left of the map, and go to the map screen, which takes a little while to load after you've just fast travelled, and then up to the animus section, down to maps, and then click on me to plant a pivot. And you can only plant pivots where you're standing. So that's the first pivot, and now we know that it's somewhere in the map, which doesn't really help us. So I'm going to fast travel over to the other side of the city and plant another pivot that's in basically a straight line with it. So now you see it's somewhere in the north of the island, and what we want to do is travel to somewhere up here to again split the island. You generally want to go to the middle of the green zone each time to plant a new pivot. And I travelled to this one, but actually this one's where it is, so pretend I didn't, and pretend I travelled to this one just so I can show you how it actually works. And I'm going to plant a pivot there, and you'll see now that it's in the outside section here. So I want to plant a pivot somewhere in the middle here. And at this point you should have 4 or more pivots, so you can just keep planting them. But you'll see when we go to frontier, we can start removing dead pivots. So I'm going to fast travel to another point nearby, then again plant a pivot on me. Here we go, there are the 3, and plant a 4th one there. And if you want to remove that one you can, but there's really no need. And then what we're going to do is plant another pivot in the middle section of this. Now there's not a fast travel spot nearby, so I'm just going to fast travel to this port. And there we go, we can see it's somewhere in this section. So I'm going to put a custom marker in the middle of the map, and then just run to that custom marker. And if on the way you see the pivot point, you can see it here on the minimap. It's a little square with a dot in the middle. You'll see it here. I'm just going to run to that and pick it up. But if it's not, what you do is plant a pivot point at the center that you've got to, and it'll further reduce the amount of space that we've got to see. So there we are, I've picked up pivot kappa, which I think is flesh and steel, or mostly steel, or something like that. So now go back to the map and remove all your pivots, because you'll see at the top 0 pivots to find. And there's 3 left to plant, 4 left to plant, 5 left to plant, 6 left to plant. So I've picked up 7 pivots I can use to track other pivots. So I'm going to go to frontier. I haven't been here yet, and this is a big area and it's kind of tough. So what I want to do first is cut the map in half again. So I'm fast traveling to the bottom. I'm going to lay down a pivot here. And then I want to travel up to Kanienke and just plant one there, because that's going to cut the map in half top to bottom. So now we know where there's one on the left somewhere. And really I want to plant one around there, but the closest point is the fort, and I'm not just going to run across there. So I'm going to fast travel to the fort rather than Valley Forge and plant one here. And you'll see now I've been quite lucky, it's cut the area down quite hugely, so I'm going to fast travel, or not fast travel, I'm going to have to run manually to that custom marker. So I'll speed that up for you so that you don't have to see it. And up this way there's a load of stuff to fight. It got really annoying, so you'll see I sort of give up before I get to it, because I can't be bothered to go any further and deal with all the animals to hunt and kill and quick time events and stuff. So I have a quick look at the map now and I figure, yeah, close enough, and put a pivot down where I am here, like that. And now that gives me a much smaller section, and I've still got 3 pivots left to plant. So I'm putting another custom marker in the middle of the zone that I was before and heading towards that custom marker. And so I run over here, get to the custom marker location, and as soon as you're standing on it, or when you feel you're close enough, put down another pivot point, and you'll see it's made the section even smaller. So now I can remove a dead pivot because that one's not connected to anything, and I've still got 3 to plant. Now I'll plant a pivot in the middle of that section, and you're just going to reduce the size of the searchable area each time. I hate getting into the village, I always go the wrong way. But now I'm here, I'm going to plant yet another pivot, and that makes my section even smaller, so put a dot in the middle of that, remove the dead one, and run to the center. Now you'll see I'm on the marker, but actually the pivot's come up there, and for some reason I don't pick it up when I walk over it, even though it registers as having picked up. It's still floating there, but I guess that's just a glitch. So now we've got the second pivot to find, and that's somewhere in this section here. So I'm going to remove a couple of markers because I know roughly where it is. And even though we've got this whole green section, I know that there's one around here somewhere in this bottom section. So I'm going to travel to this fort and lay one down here to make a triangle that's going to show me which side of that section it was on. And then I'm going to fast travel to this section to lay down another pivot, because that's pretty close to the center. And if you don't have the fast travel open, it's that cart there that I just showed. And now I know it's in this section, so again, put a custom marker in the middle. I'm going to fast travel back to the fort just because that's a little closer. When you fast travel, you have to relay your custom marker, so don't forget to do that. Put it in the middle of the section and then run towards it. I get on the horse because I think it might be quicker, but as always, the horse turns out to be a failed effort. Get back on the horse here, jump over here, and you can't lay pivots while you're on your horse, so I got off it, but I cut that bit. Make this section smaller, remove the dead marker, run to the new custom marker in the middle of your location. This is on the bridge. So I'm going to put a custom marker down here, like that. And now the section's even smaller, so put another marker down, and actually you'll see the pivot's already on my mini-map, I just didn't notice. So run over there, grab your next pivot, and that's the frontier done. And all you're going to do is repeat this same method in New York. So lay down two markers to cut the place in half, then one in the middle of the section that's left, and just slowly make your section smaller and smaller by laying custom waypoints, running towards them, and laying another pivot. Ask me any questions in the comments if that's unclear, but I hope it was useful. Lots of love, bye!